talking about something that is ready, prepared by the Almighty, and ready to serve. Yes, we're talking about breastfeeding on Joy 99.7 FM. It's ready to serve. Wabin.
Joy 99.7 FM. 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 Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, most definitely it's ready. It's served. Like I said, today I'm talking about World Breastfeeding Week. And I've got the guest in the studio, Constance Odonko. He's a senior midwifery officer with the ONG Department of Kolibu Teaching Hospital. Next to her, Felicia Amankwa. Actually, Constance is a principal midwifery officer, PMO. Felicia Amankwa is an SMO, senior midwifery officer. And next to them, I have a registered dietitian, Goldfield Edem Azuma, all with the Kolibu Teaching Hospital. We're going to be learning about breastfeeding, why it's important, what your rights are, what your employer is supposed to provide you, and the whole process, posture, attachment, or call it latching, confused nipple syndrome, and all those things. Got questions, concerns? WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And me, I'm a Bito. Because I like it when we're talking about very important things. World Breastfeeding Week. Just a week to talk about something as essential as breastfeeding. But I'll start with you, Constance. I mean, for many people, this is something natural. Unskilled labor. You don't have to learn it. You don't teach it. Baby too doesn't have to learn anything. Straight away, bam, it is done. Why is it important to educate people about breastfeeding and its importance?
Thank you. Thank you to your listening and your viewers. So breastfeeding is very vital to the life of the woman and then the infants. And this is because research have shown that mothers who breastfeed their babies babies are able to grow very well.
Okay.
They have good cognitive development, and their brain develop very well, and also helps prevent infections and allergies in the infants. So that said, it is important the mother has proper position and attachment of the newborn to the breast. So if you don't get the attachment and the position right, unfortunately, the baby will not get the adequate breast milk that the infant needs to grow well.
Okay.
So it's important health personnel teach mothers how to properly position and attach their infants to the breast.
Okay.
And then the importance of it as well.
Okay, so very important, lots of benefits for the child, their development both physically and mentally is secured, guaranteed when they are breastfed. We know also of benefits for the mother, the bonding, in fact both of them, bonding, and then even when it comes to some of the cancers and also other ailments, it's also protective for the mother. Felicia, am I right?
Yeah.
So let's look at this in proper context, okay? A lot of research shows that, look, you are encouraged. Indeed, it is critical that breastfeeding begins within the first hour after childbirth. Within the first hour after childbirth. Tell us a bit about that important criteria.
Okay, thank you very much. And then what I have to say is that the first 1 hour is called a crucial moment for breastfeeding.
Okay.
This is because once the baby is born, we have what we call skin to skin. Baby is positioned on the mother.
Okay.
And when the baby begins to latch well and then breastfeed within that first hour, then lactation is established.
Okay.
When you don't do that, and then the mother stays at the labor ward and being transferred to the postnatal ward, it is very difficult putting baby to breast, and it is very difficult also establishing lactation.
Okay.
So within the first 1 hour, when lactation is well established, breast milk is being produced,
Okay.
and then you are not going to have any difficulties with the subsequent breastfeeding.
Okay. So from the get-go, this is something that must be established.
Exactly.
And if we don't meet this target, then we run the risk of challenging the development of that bond, right?
Yes,
and then of
yes.
course the development of the child and this
Yes.
habit or practice of breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding, yes.
Okay, folks, if you just joined us, 40 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM, I'm discussing breastfeeding, its importance, and more importantly, under the theme enabling breastfeeding amongst working women. All right. In the past, well, and not to get into that, but women were supposed to be or thought to belong to the home. So after delivery, of course, they were supposed to have the luxury and time and space and structure to undertake this important duty. Now there are many challenges. Most women work, whether you call it formal or informal work. There are many, many, many barriers and challenges to this very essential duty, right?
Yes.
And indeed, honor, if I can say that for women.
Yes, it is.
Breastfeeding, it's an honor, right? So we're looking at this and we'll gradually trace the steps. We'll understand what breastfeeding is, what at all is in this, should I say, comprehensive formula called breast milk that makes it so essential and critical. And then how should it be delivered? And please, when we're talking about breastfeeding during this week, we're not talking about adults with sharp teeth, okay? We're talking about breastfeeding of infants, okay, as they grow and develop. So those of you who like asking those questions, we the men, how can we help? And if we do this and that, please, I will not be kind to you today. Okay, let's lock it down. That is entertainment. This is education, information, transformation. All right. So coming back, so the baby is supposed to be attached to the mother to start this very, very important process. Learning how to get its nutrition from the mother, building a bridge, a bond with the mother, right? Yeah. And then switching to this new, should I say, process of feeding. Constance, let me ask you. So I was reading about some of these things, okay? It doesn't seem like in our parts of the world we are doing that well when it comes to the first hour. Right? Are there reasons why some mothers may not be, put in contact with their children to breastfeed within the first hour of delivery?
Yeah, thank you. So with regards to the first hour, realize that Some mothers, unfortunately, due to the misconceptions around, they think that if they put their baby to breast right after delivery, it's not going to help. But we health personnel, we are propagating that information that we should be able to assist the mothers to put their babies to breast because of its importance. As Felicia said earlier on, not only is it going to benefit the baby right away, but it's going to also help the mother. This is because when the baby suckles the nipple via the areola, what happens is that there's messages to the brain to produce what we call this hormone, oxytocin. And this oxytocin hormone helps the uterus contract and helps prevent bleeding right in the labor room. So realize that right after delivery, the oxytocin that is released when the baby is able to suckle the breast, it helps release. It's going to help the mother prevent the blood absorption, reduce the bleeding.
Okay.
So then mother should be in the known, and then that misconception about not baby putting the baby to breast should be a thing of the past, because there are lots of advantages with regards to the first. Yes, as I said, the misconception is what accounts to that.
Okay. All right, if you just joined us, we're talking about breastfeeding as part of World Breastfeeding Day with my guest from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. I have two senior, one even principal midwifery officer, and a registered dietitian who will also come in. And thankfully he's male, right? He's not wearing a bra. I don't see. Well, I see breasts, but I'm not the breast in the way we're talking. Okay. Now, folks, we know we are mammals, senior mammals or superior mammals, and we are viviparous as well. We give birth to live offspring, right?
Yeah.
And so we have these glands that produce and secrete milk, okay? And we use those to feed offspring, right? So a chicken does not breastfeed, right? So let's get the context right, okay? We give birth to live offspring. Other species or animals give birth to partially formed offspring, and then they go through another process, okay? Like the marsupials, the koala bears, the kangaroos, then you stay in a pouch and you're doing other things, okay? So we have these glands, right? I'll stick with the midwives, and then when we get to what is in the breast milk, I'll be alternating between them and the gentleman who doesn't have the equipment, okay? Right, so let me come back to you, Felicia. So women have breasts, right? And during this process, and Constance has just alluded to the wonderful chemistry or neurochemistry of hormones, neurotransmitters, and so many other things that switch on certain processes, okay? Do all women produce breast milk?
Okay, thank you.
I'm moving from the fact that physical fact that you have breasts, we can see them, right? But this production with regard to childbirth.
Okay, breast milk is a natural process that's supposed to take place when you deliver.
Okay.
All women are supposed to produce breast milk when they deliver, but we have exceptions.
Okay.
Some have challenges within the first few days after delivery in the production of the breast milk. But as she said, when we position and attach gradually, the breast milk is being produced.
Okay.
Some are also put on medications before the breast milk is being produced. We mentioned hormones being prolactin and oxytocin playing a role.
Right.
So the prolactin is produced, and that is what signals the brain to produce the breast milk. Once you become pregnant, between the 12th and the 16th week, breast milk is being produced. We have something we call colostrum.
Right.
It starts producing when you are pregnant. So by the time you deliver, breast milk is supposed to be produced.
Okay.
So there are some, like 1%, it's not all women who have challenges. Then the doctor comes in, prescription is given. But before we go in to give the medication, we'll find out whether there's problem with your position and attachment.
Okay.
How do you breastfeed?
Okay.
We would have to observe all those things. If we do that and it's done well, and then breast milk starts flowing, then there is no problem. But when we do all these things, and then the breast milk there is a challenge.
Then that has to be addressed.
That has to be addressed.
Okay, so all women, most women, fingers crossed, God willing, can and will produce breast milk and should be able to breastfeed. But they must do that properly. That's what we're talking about. Okay, you could be doing it and something is going to baby's mouth. You're struggling or you're stressed or you're tired, baby's neck or whatever. So many things could be going wrong. That's what we're talking about. Any questions, concerns, 055 11 11 997. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. So let's come back to the process. The body signals the breast, the mammary glands to start producing. Of course, it has structures, right? We're not going to go into the physiology of the breast. But of course, there are parts of it that produce the breast milk, and there are ducts that allow that breast milk to come out for the benefit of the child. During pregnancy, my understanding, Constance, is that, of course, there are many chemical messages and many other things that prevent the breast milk from being discharged, though you may have occasional leakages at the nipple. It's not flowing the way it's supposed to flow until after delivery. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, it's so true. So as we said earlier on, the hormones play a vital role. So during pregnancy, when the woman is pregnant, prolactin and then oxytocin, unfortunately, is decreased. And then the estrogen and other hormones play a vital role to keep the pregnancy in good health. So when the woman delivers right away, with positional attachments of baby to the breast, the baby is going to suck the areola, and then gradually there'll be more production of prolactin.
Okay.
So prolactin and then the oxytocin will play a vital role.
Okay.
So more prolactin, more production of the milk.
Okay.
And the baby can be able to suckle the milk.
All right. So the initiation and continuation of breastfeeding actually also maintains the process of production.
Exactly.
Right? So you need to you need to breastfeed for the flow to continue.
Yes. So prolactin, that is the work of the prolactin. Okay. So the more the baby suckles at the breast, the more milk flow.
Okay.
More suck, more milk flow. Prolactin is going to be produced, and that's going to help with the production of the milk.
Okay.
So more suckling, more production of the breast milk.
Okay. Great. This is from Sarah Manful in Winneba, right? Good afternoon, Note and guests. Great discussion this afternoon. Note, breastfeeding is the best medicine most people don't know, because I breastfed my daughter for good 2 years before she stopped suckling. Even that cry, it was my friends who made her stop by teasing her. And by the grace of God, I don't remember the last time we went to hospital. Please, breastfeeding mothers should not stop early breastfeeding for their children. Thanks for sharing that, Sarah. I know I've got another one from Dede in Maryland. Let me just quickly read that. Dede is still typing. Okay, so we know this is important, right? And we're learning about the physiology of it. We have policies guiding and directing our efforts and interventions to make sure this wonderful thing takes place. Very often we hear about exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, or the first 6 months. Which of you midwives will take that?
Okay.
Yeah, exclusive EBF breastfeeding. It's a policy, right? What really does it say? What are we required, or what are women required to do?
Okay, exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months. It means that every woman after delivery is supposed to breastfeed the baby for 6 months without food or water.
Without anything?
Without anything.
That doesn't come from the breast?
Yeah.
Right. Exclusive.
Only breast milk.
Right. No water?
No water.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because breast milk itself contains water, and then it has the feed itself. So you realize that, let's make it practical. So when a woman delivers, for the first 3 days, we have the colostrum being produced.
Yeah.
The colostrum is yellowish or clear in color. And this comes for the first 3 days. After the first 3 days, the mature milk begins to come in. That is where the woman's breast feels full. So every woman will realize that when you are breastfeeding, the first milk that comes out is very light, like water. After breastfeeding for some time, you realize that the whitish milk starts coming. And that is the feed, the fat that has the energy that the baby needs, that helps in the brain development and blood vessels formation, intelligence, prevention against infection, and all those things. So breast milk has all the nutrients that we need. It has antibodies, it has immunoglobulins, everything. So then we are saying that breast milk is the only thing that we are supposed to give. It has both the water and the food that the baby needs.
Okay.
And we are saying also that once you bring in the artificial, you are compromising the immunity of the baby. The baby will begin to be sick. And then at the end of the day, intolerance also sets in.
Okay.
So the breast milk has everything.
All right. He thought of everything before he gave you that child. Huh? He even thought of the formula for the child. He even thought of the container for the milk, which most people are more particular about. The breast. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it has everything.
Yeah.
And you're being encouraged by policy, which is of public health importance. Right? Even it's an indicator for the country worldwide. If you look at health indicators, developmental indicators, they look at under 5 mortality, they look at this and that and that. And breastfeeding is a key indicator for key reasons. And that's what Felicia has just been explaining. Your breast milk has everything your child needs, and the policy and the direction and the encouragement. And indeed, what should be the practice is that you are going to keep your child only on this for 6 months, for the first 6 months of that child's life, before you start introducing what we call complementary feeding and other nutrients and so on and so forth. If you just joined us, 28 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Ultimate Health with me, Norte by Nature, with 2 midwives and a registered dietitian talking about breastfeeding, and we'll move diligently till we get to the point where we can now consider the role and the place and the importance of interventions that facilitate and promote breastfeeding in the workplace. Any questions, concerns? WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997. Goldfield.
Yeah.
Wonderful, powerful name, Goldfield.
Yes.
Goldfield Edem Azuma. You're a dietitian.
Yes, please.
So Felicia just talked about colostrum and then the first milk, and I know there's fore milk and then there's later milk. And so these constituents are important for the nutrition, development, nourishment of this growing child from as early as 1 hour or even a few minutes after birth.
Yes.
Okay. So again, policy-wise, right? And I know she brought in the issue about formula, but sticking to breast milk. Any other things you want to add about breast milk and its importance for the developing child?
Yes. So there's this study that was done on the brain of a developing child.
Okay.
And the brain cell practically looks like a tree. A baby that has been breastfed exclusively for 6 months and complementary feed has been added, the tree looks very leafy. Okay. It has all its branches branching out, everything looks great. But if a child who has not been breastfed exclusively, it looks shriveled, like it's in drought.
Okay.
So the breastfeeding is very important, even for the intelligence and the brain development of the child.
Right.
Not just that, it helps the child's gut development. Some of these food allergies and intolerances has been traced back to the fact that babies were not breastfed exclusively for 6 months.
Okay.
So exclusive breastfeeding is very important. Breast milk has every single thing the baby needs.
Okay. So stimulates neurodevelopmental processes.
Yes.
And your child needs all those things active from very, very, very early on. Dede in Maryland is asking about the misconceptions that may prevent or be a barrier to that first hour target, right? Where you mentioned women feel that this and that. She's asking, what kind of misconceptions are you talking about? What are the beliefs of these women that would maybe cause them to resist you attaching their precious, priceless baby to their nipple or their breast immediately after birth? And then she also asked about medications to stimulate or promote milk flow. Can they have an adverse effect on the baby? Then she says, can breast pump help with these issues of milk flow?
Okay. So I'll start with the last question. She was talking about the breast pump would help with milk flow. Yeah, so with breastfeeding, we say that all things being equal, after birth, health personnel should help position their mothers to the breast. So there are instances whereby after we have examined the breast, we realize that the nipple, it's possible that it's inverted. Inverted means that it's gone in. So if the nipple is inverted, unfortunately, baby cannot latch well on the nipple throughout to the areola. So we'll examine, and if it's still the same, we're going to use the breast pump to help.
Just to help Constance, when you say areola, that's the dark area.
Yes, the dark area, the black blast. Yes,
around the nipple.
Around the nipple. Baby should latch more on the areola, so more areola in than below.
The more of that you get in your mouth, then the nipple itself, it's deeper in your mouth.
Yes,
and that's at the roof of
exactly,
the mouth. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So then, based on examination, if we realize that the nipple is inverted, we can either use, baby can latch on it. If it's so that it's not improving, then we're going to use the breast pump to help bring the areola out. The nipple out, actually, to help bring the nipple out. So the breast pump is equally important, or we can know the manual expression as well. So it's equally important.
All right. But critically, coming back to this issue of the orientation or direction of the nipple, whether inverted and all that, would all of this not have been done during antenatal processes? Would we not have planned for this? Would we not have observed or identified any possible or potential challenges with breastfeeding ahead of delivery?
Right. Okay. So research have shown that when you talk about breast protactility, that means that how the nipple stretches, it improves after delivery. Okay. So nipple stretchiness or protactility improves after delivery. That said, there will only be the need for the mother to be massaging the nipple and all that during pregnancy time. Okay. So after birth, we're going to help mother position the baby to breast, and hopefully with adequate positional attachment, that will be resolved. But if so persists, that is when we get to use the breast pump. Okay. So there's no preparation. There's no need to do any preparation with regards to pregnancy. After delivery, research have shown that protactility improves after delivery, that the stretchiness of the nipple. Okay. So the baby is going to latch on the nipple, then to the areola, and then there'll be more production. So there's no need for the woman to prepare during pregnancy. Some people use other things to massage the nipple. There would be the need to do that because protactility improves after.
It will improve.
Yes, after delivery.
Great stuff. It's 34 minutes past your 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living with me, Note by Nature. You just heard speaking Constance Odonko. She's a principal midwifery officer with the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Next to her, Felicia Amankwa. She's a senior midwifery officer with the same department. And Goldfield Edem Azuma is a dietitian also with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Questions are welcome on Facebook, Facebook and YouTube, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube. You can get us on WhatsApp 055 11 11 997, and shortly I will activate the phone line so you can ask the questions directly yourself. This one says, this is from Hayford in Bato. Good afternoon, Norte, please. How are you and your panelists? I've been out of my house for 2 weeks, so I missed this vital information about Ultimate Health. Back to my point. Doctor said that immediately the woman gives birth, the baby has to be put to the breast to feed to help mother stop bleeding. My question is that, what about those babies born, unfortunately, they pass away? What happened to their mothers? Does that mean the bleeding will not stop or what? There are other ways to stop hemorrhaging or bleeding, okay? Yes. We're talking about benefits and advantages of breastfeeding, right? This is an added one related to bleeding of the mother. It doesn't mean that if a mother is bleeding and they lost the baby, then the bleeding will not stop. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Hayford, that's what we're talking about. Some of the benefits, okay? There are lots of them I read related to allergies, asthma, and so on and so forth. That breastfeeding is protective, relatively, right? Comparatively, if you look at babies who were not exclusively breastfed and those who were, their vulnerability to some of these things is different, with the advantage being on the side of those who were breastfed. Hi, Norte, concerning the 6-month exclusive breastfeeding, sometimes mother has no breast milk coming from their breast, especially mothers giving birth for the first time. It can take 3 days or even more for breast milk to come into some mothers' breasts. The way it says some mothers, and I knew it's a man. It's Ernest in Abeka. Maybe the baby may be starved if you have to wait for that long. So this forces people to give the baby something to take in first. Is that bad? Right? So, Ernest, from the way you were writing, I already knew it was a man writing. But yes, there are challenges, and that's what my guests addressed, okay? But what do you want to say directly to Ernest?
Okay. Ernest, Regarding the question that he asked,
that some mothers have no breasts for a couple of days, and we've already mentioned that sucking and putting the baby to breast stimulates this process, even if it's a bit slow or delayed.
Yes. So for the first 3 days, when we do the first 1 hour, that challenge is being resolved. Like I said, colostrum is being produced, and it's very important, has antibodies that protects the baby. So within the first 3 days, with good positioning and attachment, there should be proper lactation. Once there is no good position and then at proper positioning and attachment, that is where the challenge comes in. Okay. It means that you giving the formula to the baby. It's called pre-lactia feed.
Right.
With the pre-lactia feeding, you have given another feed before the breast milk. So the baby will have challenges with latching onto the breast. And some go ahead giving the feeding, the teeth, the feeding bottle. So the baby gets confused with the mother's nipple. So you have challenges even positioning and then attaching. So we are telling him that the first 1 hour, when it's done well, breast milk will flow.
Right, Ernest, you may recall in part of my introduction, I mentioned nipple confusion, right? When we introduce the teeth, my understanding, from my side of science, right? The nipple is designed, it's easier, there's not much work for the baby. The flow is also something you can squeeze the bottle, it's coming, right? You may get a lazy baby, right? Doing very little for itself, which is not what God planned. And then when you put that baby on the nipple, my understanding again is that they struggle because it's strange, it doesn't feel the same, and they're like, well, you don't kanyana, right? Anga pipe, right? And again, that brings the problems that my midwives and the guests are talking about. So that is why they are insisting and encouraging everybody, and the research is pointing in that direction. Exclusive. Work at it, it will flow. If it has challenges, there are things they can do. I think we left out, they asked when we stimulate breast milk with medicines or other things, does it affect the baby? When we have to stimulate the flow or production, does it affect the baby?
Okay. So let me take it. Breast milk is natural. Breast milk is natural. So there are instances whereby some mothers are on hormonal medication, certain medication that could undermine the milk production. So depending on that particular individual and the assessments, would intervene when necessary. So it cuts across that breast milk is natural. So then, so far as the milk is flowing, there won't be any challenge. But if there are certain medications that could undermine the probability of the mother having adequate breast milk, then would have to investigate and then take it from there.
But whatever you will use to stimulate
it
or enhance the flow or production will not damage the baby. That's
will not damage it. So far as it is safe, based on, as I said, it's safe, it will not have any effect.
Great. Let me activate my phone line, 0302-216-541, 0302-216-541. We're taking steps, right? And we're not in a hurry because we will feed again, probably next week, so that we can look at all the things. I've heard them already introduce positions and attachment. I've intentionally, deliberately not gotten there yet, okay? But I know and my listeners are like that. They will get there, all right? So we have lots of time to breastfeed all of you. And Temua Tachi why? So 0302-216-541 and WhatsApp is 055-11-11-997. Good afternoon, Note. Yes, indeed, breastfeeding is the best for children, but it's a problem when the woman has twins. You might be surprised. God thought of that as well. In my case, my wife tried but had to introduce the supplementary feed in the middle of the 4th month because the breast milk was not sufficient for the girls. So we are talking about multiple births, right? So you have 2 or more children. The children are age 6 now and doing well. I am Komla from East Legon. Now, interestingly, what he shares is the challenge, okay? And we've talked about production, stimulation of production, right? We haven't talked about quantity.
Okay.
Do you see? Some people feel that when the breasts are big, then you have maybe a couple of gallons or a couple of liters. My reading suggests it's not related to the size of the breast, okay? But here's Komla sharing that there was a challenge with the quantity produced and therefore they had to supplement. I'll come to that in a second. There's a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alex speaking.
Alex, where are you calling from? Dodwa, share with us, please.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, my baby, after 4 months of breastfeeding, it wasn't enough for him. Once, when you give him the breast milk, in a certain time, he's hungry again. So we decided to add the baby food, the naan, to it.
Okay.
I hope that can't cause any problem.
How old did you say that again? Your baby?
After 4 months of his
4 months, okay. Yeah.
After the 4 months, the breast milk wasn't enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you breastfeed him and then the next minute he's hungry again. So we decided to add the baby food to it.
Okay, let me just ask.
Since they are saying you have to give them exclusive breastfeed for 6 months, that's why I'm asking.
Okay, great. All right, we'll answer that in a sec. I have another caller. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Who am I speaking to?
Mama Ya from La Paz.
Okay, Mama Ya, share with us.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your team. Yes. I have a question, then later I'll make a contribution.
Mama Ya, just lower the volume on your radio or whatever is near you and make the question and the contribution brief so that we can answer them, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still getting feedback.
There was a question whether the use of the pump makes breast milk flow, but it wasn't answered. I also would like to know that because of late, most of the mothers use the pump just to aid them to get adequate breast milk, which they use to, after suckling for some time, then they top it up for the baby. So we want to know, especially when they resume work like that, after the 3 months that they have to go to work, they use the pump to help them produce a lot of milk before they leave in the morning for work.
Okay.
So I would like to know that. And then please, my contribution is that concerning the flow of the breast milk in the first 3 days, it's not adequate. So the little I know is that it's all part of why the baby loses weight. And then the drying of the umbilical cord, and then inadequate bread, because though it starts, it's indeed, it's not enough to satisfy the baby. So it starts, the colostrum, yes, but it doesn't flow that much. That's why the baby starves. Mothers get anxious, but then they should just understand that with time it will come. It wouldn't satisfy the baby until after the 3rd day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Ya. Okay, she starts from one side, then she starts talking about things she knows or what she's experienced or heard. Then she gives the same assurance that we've been given in the studio. Okay, let me lump those two together. Komla said his wife had to supplement after 4 months. The issue of insufficiency or inadequacy of breast milk is coming up. I'm also hearing the anxiety or frustration of women, and indeed, in Komla's or Ernest's case, the men who are coming in, Yankotobi, right? Can we speak to that? Whilst I keep assuring listeners that we're going to take this in steps, we'll address all of these issues. Some of them are coming ahead of the others, okay? So it won't come the way you people are talking and describing in the studio and banisa, and therefore we top up, or therefore we use a pump. Can we speak to these issues of inadequacy? And then also, if you can answer for me, it sounds like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I didn't listen properly, but it sounds like mothers, parents are taking these decisions on their own. Okay, I know they go for postnatal and all those things. They have their cards. We're checking whether the children are thriving and all these things. But it sounds like we decided to buy. Okay, I wanted to hold some of them on the line to ask, did you discuss this with your facility, your provider? But can we speak to this inadequacy or perceived inadequacy of flow and quantity?
Okay. So when mothers complain that the babies are not having adequate breast milk, we health personnel, first of all, we want to interrogate to find out what do they mean by baby not having adequate breast milk. Okay. So we have a counseling session, sort of, So based on the response, they will intervene. I just want to say that the breast milk has what we call the fore milk and the hind milk. So what we realize with some mothers is that since they don't know that the breast milk has the fore milk and the hind milk,
it changes.
Yes, so they end up giving just the fore milk. And we are saying that mothers should put babies to breast on demand. Demand means that there's no time limit. So let the baby suck the breast milk and you feel that your breast will be lighter. People will later even pull away from the breast. That means baby is satisfied. These are the signs that baby is having adequate breast milk. And then also diaper change. Baby wear the diaper and all that. There are signs. When you go for child welfare clinics, you realize baby has gained weight and all that. There are signs that baby is having adequate breast milk. So then let the baby has a complete milk so that the fore milk, the first milk is lighter. The fore milk contains less energy. The hind milk contains more energy. So the realize that if the baby has a fore milk and hind milk together, the baby has had a complete milk. The baby is more satisfied. But I realize that some mothers put their babies to breast about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then they are done. Then they go and put the babies in the room or on the bed. Unfortunately, baby has not had a complete meal. So few minutes, baby is agitated and crying. So you might think that the milk is not enough because the baby has not got the hind milk. And if you do that, rather the breast will start getting, engorged, means that the milk hasn't been emptied. The breast hasn't been emptied.
That's when you get all that tenderness.
Yes,
and
tenderness.
discomfort.
So they should have a complete meal. That is both the fore milk and the hind milk. You wouldn't see it physically, but you realize that your breast will be emptier. Baby will be calm on the breast, not irritable. These are the signs that baby is having adequate breast milk.
Right. Now, I think Komla said that Chale, the baby has emptied the tank and still wants more, right? And therefore, there was a need to supplement, okay? Now, my understanding again is that, well, you feed with one breast, okay? And then you make sure you feed completely on that breast. Don't be alternating. So this one, there's still some there. Then you go to the left or the right and so on and so forth. But this issue of baby has done with the tank. National reserves are zero, right? And therefore, we are, should I say, compelled to go and supplement. How do you address this that is coming up on our phone lines and WhatsApp? Baby has had it, he's taken it, but it doesn't look like baby is done.
So looking at Kobla's question, the baby is 4 months. It means that from the beginning, so from the start, when the baby was born from the scratch, they were not having this difficulty. But when they got to the 4th month, they started having that challenge. We have something that we call psychological factors. So probably there are lots of challenges like stress. And stress also suppresses the production of breast milk.
Stress on whose part?
On the mother's part. On the mother's part.
But babies get stressed too.
Yes, but the mother is the one producing the milk.
So you are focusing
on the mother.
The mother's condition, stress.
So mother is stressed out. Mother goes to work, comes back home, cook, does everything, and is expected to breastfeed. Under this circumstance, she's stressed out, so the prolactin will be suppressed. Breast milk will not be produced as it's supposed to. So looking at Kobla's question, that's what Constance said. We should look into the factors that are playing the role that is causing all these problems. So we can say that it could be the mother is stressed out, or she's not having adequate support in the home. So Kobla could support the mother, and then with the correct positioning and then the attachment, the breast milk will flow, and there is no need for them to add the artificial feed.
You've tiptoed into what I was going to switch quickly to Goldfield. This decision about formulas, we have not gone into what type of formula, what it is, but people know they are available, right? How should it be done? We've got the midwives here, we've got the postnatal clinics, we've got the baby care or thriving clinics and all those things that are checking all these indicators. But once they leave our catchment area, they are free to take their own decision. How should it be done in the interest of baby and baby's development? This switch to go and buy something and add it, and when you add it, obviously means you're using a bottle. Right? How should this be done? Because it may be sending confusing signals to the baby as well.
It starts from it's stepwise. It starts from policies. So there are laid down policies and laws regarding advertisement of these foods.
Okay.
It's because these foods are advertised as if they are superfoods than the breast milk, or they make life easier.
Right.
So hopefully in some parts in our country, we've done well to some extent of limiting those adverts from our television and radio stations.
Okay.
But
are those adverts competing with the promotion of exclusive
Yes.
breastfeeding?
yes,
Okay.
some of these adverts are competing, and when you
Are
look,
they selling or promoting a wrong, or should I say, a wrong message?
some of them are promoting wrong messages,
Okay.
and they are labeling the artificial feeds as superfoods as compared to the breast milk. And one of the most convincing adverts is that it makes the mother's life easier.
So what you're saying, what I'm sensing, and I'd like you to hit it if it is what I think.
Okay.
Are you saying convenience could be a curse? Because it means, well, look, I'm balancing so many things. And listeners, yes, we will get to the work and the struggle to balance, which is the theme, right? But really, Charlie, this thing is there. I can do it and still go to work and be earning my small, So that's the convenience. That's the product that is packaged and sold. But I'm listening to you, a dietitian, saying, well, they're making it seem like what it's not.
The convenience also brings its problems.
Okay.
And you'll be in a hurry to get to work and make that coins.
Okay.
But you later end up spending twice of that coins in trying to reverse some of the adverse effects of just focusing on that feed when you have breast milk available.
Okay. They are not talking about switching totally to the feed, but using it supplementary, in a supplementary mode, okay? When the breast milk is there, we are fine. Right? It's like when we had Akusumbu and Hydro, plenty. Now we've gone to thermal and other things. So what about this switching? My baby is getting breast milk, all right. It's not exclusive, and I have reasons. Okay. Does that damage the child?
It has some disadvantages.
It has disadvantages.
Yes, it has disadvantages.
Okay.
Because those formulas are trying to imitate breast milk. And the truth is that some of them are not even up to 60% the imitation of how breast milk is like.
Okay.
And the baby's physiological developments have not reached the extent for some of these infant formulas.
All right.
So when they are not done properly, if they are added as complementary feeds when time is not up, it causes adverse effects in the immediate and in the future.
Okay. So we want the parents, mothers to understand that. Coming back to the midwives, Constance and Felicia. So what's the case? Is it that if in doubt, if anxious, if experiencing problems, come back to hospital or come back to the facility? I know for a fact many women are delivering outside facilities, okay? Right? And I don't pretend that because I'm sitting on Joy FM, everybody delivers in Kolebu or with a midwife attending, right? So what are we saying? What should be the response? You're having challenges with breastfeeding. Doesn't look like my baby is full or thriving. What should you do so as not to compromise this exclusive target for breastfeeding in the first 6 months?
Okay. So we'll talk about the importance of breastfeeding. So mothers, if you are in the known about the importance, we are advocating that please kindly report to the health facility for us to assess. It's possible it's the position and attachment of the baby to the breast that is causing all that.
Okay.
So we said come to the hospital, the facility nearer.
Learn it properly.
Learn it, yes.
How to attach your child, the positions.
It's so important.
Yeah.
So you have to be there for us to assess. It could be stress that is affecting the flow of the milk. Because if stress can prevent the release of the prolactin, so they might realize that it's stress. So we need to work, and maybe we need support system. So it's about you consulting us. Our doors are open, not only us, but the health personnel at the various facilities will be there to give you a helping hand. So please don't be hesitant to report to us.
Okay.
We are there to give you
to go
our
to
services.
a facility.
Yes.
Right. In this sense, we're talking about whether it is a CHIPS compound, any level of health facility. Right. Should you be talking to a midwife?
Yes, so you should be talking to a midwife or the doctor, the obstetricians.
Right.
Yes.
They are scarce. I'll say midwife because, of course, my mom is a midwife or a retired midwife. But further afield, let's cast our mind that there are people in situations that are not Accra, okay, are not urban, are not tertiary facilities. So what do they do? Where do they go? To a clinic, CHIPS compound, a polyclinic, and so on and so forth. They should be able to get assistance there.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Kwame Obeng says, I want to find out how long a baby must be breastfed. My girl is 18 months and Chale, she doesn't want to leave the thing for me. Okay. So Kwame wants to be not a land guard, but a breast guard. He wants the thing back. Okay. His daughter is 18 months. Okay. Wayebi. How long beyond the 6 months target or threshold should a baby or a child be breastfed? I've heard people, I've heard accounts beyond 2 years where a child is still breastfeeding.
Yes.
Right? Is there anything wrong with that? Should there be a cutoff point?
There is nothing wrong with it. So we are saying exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months or beyond. That's 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. So Mr. Obin should know that the baby has not completed the 2 years. So baby
But
should
Mr.
continue.
Bing himself is still on complimentary.
That's why.
He's eating banku and tilapia, but he wants the breast back.
Yes. Yes. So the baby needs it for its development, cognitive development.
Okay.
And like a song says, "Enya papa ne dia, akola ne dia," is for the baby. That's breastfeeding.
Okay.
There's a song for it. So
18 months is nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
okay.
so
Right. He's complaining. I haven't heard from his wife yet.
So 6 months and beyond. Yeah. She's going to take the 6 months exclusive breastfeeding, then add a complementary feed
Okay.
alongside the breast milk
Okay.
for 2 years and
All right.
beyond.
Abeku says he'll feed the father. What about the baby that's mother's passed away at childbirth? Will it not have the luxury of breastfeeding? Does that affect the baby's development? This is from Dede in Maryland. What about the baby having a heavy appetite and the milk isn't satisfying? Dede adds that to the charge sheet, and then she adds to the amended charge sheet. Why 6 months specifically? Why stressing on the 6 months? Is that the most pressing, important window the baby must have all the developmental nutrients? Okay. I know when I check all the CDC, WHO, all the global, right? And even if you look at the SDGs, right? These are markers that are globally accepted or universally accepted. But she wants a reason. Why 6 months? As we wrap up, we're almost out of time. If we can quickly answer that.
So several studies have shown that 6 months is crucial for the baby's development. And it's such that even after the 6 months, now the breast milk does not meet all the baby's needs. That's where complementary feed comes in.
You're adding other things, introducing other things.
Yes.
Okay.
So 6 months, the baby gets all what they need from the breast milk.
Okay.
And then after 6 months, we add up nutritious, helpful food for the baby.
Okay. Don't forget that in the womb, the baby was getting all its food and nutrients from Gridco through the placenta.